Good morning, first graders. It is April 29th, 2020. It is Wednesday. So last couple days in math, what we've been doing is helping Hansel and Gretel mark the trails in the woods using pebbles and pine cones and breadcrumbs. Now, these trails have been so well done that the visitors from the village are coming to use these trails. And to make these trails nicer for the villagers, what they have decided is that they want to put some things to make the trails look prettier. So they came up with the idea that they're going to put a fence, a bench, and a flower pot with pretty flowers in it to make the trails look a lot prettier. Now you might notice that they also marked how big each of these things are. So a fence is 10 steps long, a bench is 5 steps long, and a flower pot is 1 step long. So they had this really great idea, and the next morning they wanted to try it. So they had a delicious breakfast of cereal and strawberry and blueberries and some orange juice, and they got to work. When they were done with their work, they drew a map of what they did that day. Now, they had a problem. They weren't sure how far it was from here to here. But they had some things that they knew. So first of all, how many flower pots do we see? We see 5 flower pots. And how many steps is in one of these flower pots? 1 step. And how many benches do we see? 1, good. So we see 1 bench. And how many fences do we see here? 1 fence. And how many steps is in a fence? It is 10 steps long. So we know that this is 10 steps long. This is 1 step. This is 5 steps. And each of these are 1 steps. So, what are some strategies you can use to find out how long it is from here to here? One strategy I'm going to do is I'm going to use Unix cubes to help me. But I forgot to grab my cubes from school. So what we're going to do is we're going to use jelly beans instead. So I know each of these fences is 10 steps. So I'm going to place 10 jelly beans. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Squish these a little bit over so that way we can have more space. So we have 8, 9, and 10. Now, how many flower pots? How many steps is a flower pot? That is right, just 1. So I'm going to just put 1 jelly bean there. Now, how many steps is a bench? 5. Good job. So I'm going to put 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And each of these flower pots are how many steps? 1. So I see 1, 2, 3, 4. So, now my question is, how far is it from here to here? Remember, we were trying to solve that, and maybe you came up with a different strategy. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to count how many jelly beans I see. So I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. So it is 20 steps. So if you got 20, give yourself a pat on the back. Pew, pew, pew. And I'm curious as to what your strategies were. Did you draw circles like I did on your whiteboard or your paper? Or did you come up with an equation? Okay. Now, I'm curious, because it's another day, and Hansel and Gretel, what they want to do is they want to make sure they are doing this correctly. So they want to ask us to help them. So I'm wondering, what happens, how many steps is 2 benches? So remember, each bench is 5. So I am going to put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then 5 more. So I have 2 benches. How many steps would that be? And how did you find that answer? That would be 10 steps. Good. And somebody said, oh, I know the answer because I know 5 plus 5 is 10. Good. Somebody also just looked at this and said, oh, that's 10, Miss Chen. And then you just used your brain. Also good strategy. Another strategy somebody said is, I counted how many I saw and then I found 10. Awesome job. All right. Now, the next morning, they wake up and they have some pancakes. And they built 1 bench. And then they built 3 flower pots. How many steps would that take to walk this path? Good. Somebody said, oh, I know 5 plus 3 is 8. So that'll be 8 steps. Good job. Somebody else said, oh, that's 3 plus 5, and that's 8. Good job. Somebody also counted how many jelly beans they saw, and they got 8. Also a really good strategy. All right. Couple more to practice. Now, I'm curious, if they built 2 fences, how many steps would it take to walk 2 fences? Think about it. You can write an equation if you have a whiteboard marker eraser, or you have a paper as I put these down. So that's 1, and then this is the second one. So how many steps would it take to walk 2 fences? Give you a couple seconds to think about it. It is 20. And how did you get 20? Somebody said, oh, 10 plus 10 more is 20. Good. Somebody also said, I just saw this and I knew in my brain that 10 plus 10 is 20, so you used your brain computer, also good strategy. Somebody also said, I know that I counted and I got 20. Also a very good strategy. All right, so what you're gonna do now is you're gonna look in your packet. I'm gonna move my jelly beans out of the way. And you're gonna find the page in this packet. And you're gonna find this page here, and it says 10 steps on the path. So your directions say, decide what color Unifix cubes to use for fence sections, the benches, and flower pots. Use a different color for each type of object. So I'm going to highlight, use a different color because that's really important. And then it says build 2 fence sections, 4 benches, and 4 flower pots in the colors you choose. So you're going to build 2 fences, 4 benches, and 10 flower pots. And then you're going to color in the cubes in a key to show what color you're using for each object. All right. And then make different arrangements for the fence sections, benches, and flower pots to fill a path that is 10 steps long. And you're going to color each arrangement on the path selections below. Use crayons or color pencils to match the Unifix cubes. So I'm going to show you what that looks like. You don't have to make it look just like mine. Give me a second, let me grab my markers. Okay. So each of these fence sections is going to be 10 steps. So I'm going to make them green. And each of these benches are 5 steps, and I'm going to make it blue. Remember, you don't have to do it just like me, but I'm just showing you an example. And each of these flower pots is going to be pink. Okay. So the direction says to build 2 fence sections. So I'm going to build one here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'm going to color all this green. So we know that this is a fence. I'm going to fold it so that way you can see better. And then, so I have one, and then they want me to do another one, so I'm going to make it over here. This one to be another fence. And then it says I need 4 benches. So that means I will need 4 benches. So each bench is 5 steps. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's 1 bench. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that's 4 benches. Now, the last thing I need to build is 10 flower pots. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now you don't have to do it just like mine. So you could do maybe a fence here, a fence here, a bench here, fence, bench, fence. That could be an idea. Maybe you can mix in the flower pots with the benches. Those are all ideas you can do. So that is the end of today's math lesson. As always, be safe, be kind. Don't forget to wash your hands, and I will see you on Friday.